He was sitting at the edge of the bed, staring at the woman he had lived with for over 40 years. His eyes were open, but empty. She called him by name. Then by the affectionate nickname that always made him smile. But he just looked at her, like someone seeing a face for the very first time. In that cold, quiet moment she understood. He no longer knew who she was. Just days before he was still cracking jokes, remembering the names of the grandchildren, telling stories from his youth with a sparkle in his eyes. Now he seemed like a stranger inside his own body. And the most terrifying part? It wasn't a rare disease. It wasn't a sudden accident. What destroyed his mind came silently, from within, through something that seemed harmless. A pill. Yes, a daily pill, prescribed with the best of intentions, slowly erased who he was. And no one noticed. Not until it was too late. Have you ever known someone who seemed to be there but wasn't really the same anymore? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could be the warning someone desperately needs. How can something so small cause such massive damage? A simple pill. A common medication. One of those that thousands of people take every day without question. That's what began the erasure of Mr. Alfredo's mind, and of so many others who are silently living this same nightmare. The question that won't go away is this. How many people are being medicated right now, and slowly losing their identity without even knowing why? We trust the doctor, the pharmacy, the label. But what happens when the danger comes from the very thing that's supposed to help? When the relief of symptoms comes at a price no one warned us about? And what if what you call normal age-related forgetfulness is actually a warning sign that something far more serious is happening inside the brain of someone you love? This story isn't just about Mr. Alfredo. It's about fathers, grandmothers, uncles, even young people, being affected by medications that, over time, destroy neural connections, erase memories, and turn entire people into shadows of who they once were. So here's the question for you to reflect on, and comment below. Have you ever wondered if a medication you or someone close to you takes every day might be doing more harm than good? His name was Alfredo. 68 years old. A retired physics teacher, the kind of man who still did crossword puzzles, fixed things around the house himself, and loved teaching his grandchildren how to play with magnets and flashlight beams. Mr. Alfredo was the kind of person who brought a quiet intelligence into any room, and a gentleness that felt like it belonged to another time. He had strong opinions but a soft heart. He always said, "The mind is like a muscle, it needs daily exercise." And he lived by that. He read the newspaper, wrote letters by hand, did math in his head. He had a stable life, a loving wife, attentive children, and no serious illness. Just some aches and pains here and there, a bit of insomnia, some restless nights. Normal things that come with age. That's why, when the doctor prescribed a medication to help him relax and sleep better, no one thought twice. After all, it was just to help. And everyone seemed to be taking something like it. That's when the story began to change. Slowly. Almost imperceptibly. First the fatigue. Then a few forgotten words. Small memory lapses. But everything still seemed normal because he was still the same Mr. Alfredo. Until one day he forgot the way home. And no one, absolutely no one, suspected that the seemingly harmless little pill was behind it all. In the beginning no one thought much of it. After all, who hasn't forgotten where they put their glasses or called someone by the wrong name? Mr. Alfredo had always been so active, so present. So when he started repeating a few stories, the family even found it funny. It was always the same joke from school, the same wedding memory, as if he were stuck in that one corner of his mind. "Oh, it's just old age," they'd say. "He's getting old," the grandkids would joke, laughing affectionately. But over time the forgetfulness took on a different tone. He started mixing up important dates. One day he confused his daughter's name with that of his sister, who had passed away over 30 years ago. On another occasion he called the same son 3 times in a single day, and said exactly the same things as if he had no memory of already speaking. Even then the family thought it was normal. That maybe he was just tired. That he just needed some rest or more attention. But the signs were there. Loud. Clear. They were screaming. Yet no one wanted to believe. The truth is, when decline comes slowly, we adapt to it. We normalize it. We make excuses. And that's exactly what happened with Mr. Alfredo. While everyone was focused on his physical health, blood pressure, cholesterol, aches, no one imagined that the real issue was growing inside his head. Silent. Invisible. Chemical. And it all started with that small pill he took every night, thinking it was just helping his body rest. But little by little, it was shutting down his mind. It was as if everything collapsed at once. From one day to the next, Mr. Alfredo stopped doing the things he loved most. He no longer read the newspaper. He stopped doing crossword puzzles. He lost interest in his grandchildren. He spent hours sitting, staring into space, with a vacant look that didn't match the lively man he used to be. His wife, Mrs. Elza, began to notice even stranger things. He put sugar in the rice. He stored the TV remote inside the fridge. One night he got up in the middle of the night, opened the front door, and tried to leave. He only didn't go because the door was locked. When they asked where he was going, he answered naturally, "I'm going to work." But he had retired 5 years ago. That's when real fear set in. The family now scrambled for answers. But every doctor said something different. It could be stress. Maybe Alzheimer's. It's just aging. Meanwhile, he kept getting worse. Forgetting names, mixing up faces, crying for no reason, getting aggressive. And Mrs. Elza, who had always been calm and strong, cried in secret, hiding in the bathroom, unsure of what to do. Until a more attentive neurologist asked a question no one had asked before. What medications is he taking? It was the first time someone looked at the medication not as a solution, but as a possible cause. And it was also the start of a shocking revelation, one that would completely change the course of the story. Because the root of all that suffering might be there pill by pill. After a long series of tests, consultations, and sleepless nights, the truth finally came to light. The neurologist looked into the family's eyes and said something no one expected to hear. The medication Mr. Alfredo had been taking for months, prescribed to help him sleep better, was actually destroying his mind. He explained that many common medications, especially those used for anxiety, insomnia, and depression, can have devastating side effects on the brain. They can accelerate the onset of dementia, cause mental confusion, memory loss, and even drastic changes in behavior. For the family, it was a shock. Their trust in doctors and medicine seemed, at that moment, shaken. How could a medicine meant to help be the cause of so much suffering? The neurologist detailed that often these effects are not immediate. They appear gradually, silently, like an invisible illness that slowly erodes neural connections, erasing who the person really is. This discovery was the key to understanding what was happening to Mr. Alfredo. It wasn't just age, nor an irreversible neurological disease. It was the wrong combination of medications that was rapidly deteriorating his mind. The family felt a mix of relief and anger. Relief at finally having an explanation, anger for not being warned sooner. And here lies the greatest danger. While many continue to take these medications unaware of the risks, thousands of other families may be going through the same ordeal, without even suspecting it. Now that you know the medication Mr. Alfredo was taking was causing silent damage, it's important to understand which of these common drugs can actually be harmful to the mind, especially in older adults. Some of the most dangerous include benzodiazepines, used for anxiety and insomnia. Although they quickly relieve symptoms, they can cause memory loss, mental confusion, excessive drowsiness, and even increase the risk of falls and fractures. Tricyclic antidepressants, prescribed for depression but can lead to severe cognitive side effects such as difficulty concentrating and mental confusion. Antipsychotics, used to control psychiatric symptoms. However, in the elderly, they can accelerate cognitive decline and increase the risk of stroke. Opioid pain medications, besides the risk of dependence, they can cause drowsiness, confusion, and memory impairment. Sedating antihistamines, common in allergy medications but can cause excessive sleepiness and affect mental capacity. The bigger problem is that many of these medications are prescribed in doses that seem harmless, and families believe they are normal meds without serious risks. What is rarely explained are the cumulative effects when several of these drugs are taken simultaneously. In Mr. Alfredo's case, what seemed like a medicine to help with sleep turned into a trap that slowly destroyed his clarity. That's why it's essential for anyone with an elderly family member to talk openly with the doctor about every medication and be alert to any changes in behavior, memory, or mood. If you notice anything unusual, don't hesitate to seek a second opinion. Knowledge can be the difference between saving a life and losing to a silent enemy hiding in a pillbox. Have you or someone you know ever had a strange or unexpected reaction to a medication? Share your story here to help others. Now that you know about the silent danger many common medications can pose, it's time to talk about what really matters: how to protect your loved ones from suffering the same tragedy. First, it's essential to keep an open and ongoing dialogue with the doctors caring for your family member. Never be afraid to ask about side effects, the real necessity of each medication, and if there are less harmful alternatives for the brain. Good doctors understand the importance of this and appreciate when family members stay attentive. Second, regularly review all medications being taken. This means checking every prescription, including those from different specialists, to identify any risks of interactions or cumulative effects that could be harmful. Third, watch closely for any changes in behavior, mood, memory, or energy levels. Small changes can be the first sign that something isn't right. Also, try to maintain habits that stimulate both mind and body. Healthy eating, physical exercise, cognitive activities like reading, memory games, and frequent conversations. These can help strengthen neural connections and minimize negative impacts. And last but not least, never make medical decisions alone. If you notice something wrong, seek a second opinion and don't hesitate to question or ask for specialized help. Sometimes, a simple medication change can save a whole life. Remember, our elders' mental health is just as precious as their physical health. Care and attention can make all the difference in preventing stories like Mr. Alfredo's from repeating. Have you ever talked to a doctor about the risks of the medications your family members take? How was that experience? Share in the comments to help others going through the same. The painful story of Mr. Alfredo is not an isolated case. It represents thousands of people who face, every day, a silent problem. The hidden dangers and common medications that can slowly destroy the mind. Most families don't know what questions to ask, don't understand the risks, and end up blindly trusting prescriptions that aren't always completely safe. The lack of information creates a cycle where the patient suffers, and no one notices until it's too late. That's why spreading this information is so important. The more people understand the risks, the better they can protect their loved ones. Prevention starts with knowledge, with actively seeking to understand medications, their effects, and alternatives. Also, talking about this helps break the stigma still surrounding mental illnesses and dementia, topics surrounded by fear and prejudice. The more we discuss them, the more we open space for early treatment, proper care, and quality of life. Prevention is always better than cure. Caring for the mind is just as important as caring for the body. This is a responsibility we all must take on together, for those we love and for society as a whole. What do you think? Does society talk enough about the risks of medications for the elderly? How can we improve this conversation? Share your thoughts in the comments and leave a like to help spread this message. Detecting the first signs that something is wrong is crucial to act in time and prevent the situation from worsening. In the case of mental deterioration caused by medications or illnesses, these signs can be subtle, but they do appear and should never be ignored. Pay attention to frequent forgetfulness that goes beyond the usual. When a person starts forgetting recent events, names of close family members, or where they placed important objects. These are small alarms indicating that memory is failing. Another important sign is mental confusion. The person may have difficulty performing simple tasks, like paying a bill, preparing a meal, or following a conversation. They may get lost in familiar places or show disorientation in time, not knowing what day it is or confusing morning with night. Changes in mood and behavior are also warning signs. Irritability, depression, apathy, social withdrawal, or even unexpected aggression may indicate that something is wrong with their mental health. Also, observe if the person shows difficulty concentrating, impaired speech, or trouble understanding simple information. When these symptoms appear together or increase over time, they need to be evaluated by a professional. The earlier the diagnosis, the better the chances of reversing or controlling the damage. So, if you notice any of these signs in a family member or friend, don't hesitate to seek medical help immediately. Caring for the mind is an act of love that can save lives. Have you noticed any of these signs in someone you know? How did you respond? Share your experience to help others. To truly understand the impact these medications can have, there's nothing better than hearing real stories, accounts from people who went through this painful experience and managed to turn their pain into learning. Maria, daughter of Mrs. Lourdes, shared how she noticed sudden changes in her mother. She was a strong, active woman, but suddenly started forgetting things and becoming confused. We thought it was normal for her age until she began having anxiety attacks and withdrawing from the family. That's when we discovered that one of the medications she was taking for blood pressure was affecting her brain. We changed the medication just in time, and today she is much better. Meanwhile, João, caregiver of Mr. Carlos, shows how lack of information can make things worse. My father was diagnosed with depression, and the doctor prescribed an antidepressant. We were never told about the risks. Over time, he became more disoriented and seemed not to recognize us. After a lot of struggle, we got a new evaluation and the treatment was changed. It was a difficult process, but he improved a lot. These stories are just examples of what silently happens in many homes, where fear and lack of information make the suffering even greater. They also show the importance of staying alert, asking questions, seeking help, and not accepting what seems to be the only option. Mental health is a right for everyone and care starts with information. Do you know someone who has gone through something similar? How was the experience? Share your story and help others avoid the same. This story, like so many others, shows us that caring for the minds of those we love is an urgent and necessary act of love. That medication, which seemed harmless, became a silent enemy that slowly destroyed the essence of a man who had lived so much and had so much to share. But the good news is that, with information, attention, and action, we can prevent this tragedy from happening again. You watching now have the power to change this reality for someone close, whether it's a father, a mother, a grandfather, or a grandmother. Don't wait for the problem to become irreversible. Stay alert to the signs, always ask questions, talk to doctors, seek knowledge, and care with affection. And if this story touched your heart, please share this video. Your action can save lives, warn other families, and transform suffering into hope. Don't let silence and lack of information win. Together we can make a difference. What will you do today to protect the mental health of someone you love? Leave your comment and let's spread this important message together. If this story touched you, please leave a comment below sharing if you've ever experienced something similar or if you know someone who needs to hear this message. Don't forget to share this video to help protect more families from this silent trap. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, click the button so you won't miss any important information that could save lives. Together, we are stronger against these hidden dangers.